Today I'm answering your burning questions. I went to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube and asked you specifically what it is you wanted to know for this episode. So let's dive in. Welcome to Tabby Talks, the podcast where we have soft conversations about personal development, self growth, confidence, and holistic wellness. I'm your host, Tabby, short for Tabitha Isabel, and I am a wellness creator and author of Unmasking Acne with years of experience helping women completely transform not just their lives, but their holistic wellness and their confidence too. So grab your matcha, get comfortable, and let's dive into today's conversation. So let's dive in. I'm so excited about this podcast episode today because the questions that I was sent, some of them were a bit strange, but there were so many good questions, and I think some of these are really important to talk about. So, if you're on your journey of becoming, of improving your health, your wellness, and stepping into the more happier, healthier, more confident version of you, this is going to be such an insightful episode because maybe one of these questions is something that you've been pondering about too. So let's dive in, let's just talk about it. And of course, I'm going to keep you all anonymous because I know that some people they do want me to say their name, and that is fine. So let's start with the first question, and I've tried to categorize them. So I talk about the similar ones. So we're going to talk about skin and that type of wellness first. So here's the first question. Is it normal to break out more when you start healing your barrier? Yes, it's so normal. Please don't worry, honestly. It's such a hard experience when you're someone who gets breakouts anyway, and then you're like finally, introducing the right things, doing the right things topically, and like using the right products, and maybe you're adjusting your diet to like include more of the right things, and maybe you're doing some nervous system regulation tools as well. You're doing all the things, and it's so hard, isn't it, when you start to get more breakouts because then it's like, oh my God, like, what have I done? Like, am I going backwards? Like, it's so hard to follow through because most of the time we don't know that we're doing the right things or not, and it's like a guessing game, and it's like, is this the right thing? People have said it's the right thing. Even when you're working with a professional, it's really normal to kind of doubt the progress and doubt the journey that you have to embark on. So I'm really glad that you've actually asked this question because I think this is something that all of us really who experience this really need to have the reassurance for. And yes, it's really normal to break out when you start healing your barrier because basically what's happening is you're having a purge. So a purge is basically when anything underneath the surface of your skin, so things that we can't really see with our eyes because it's deep under, they get brought to the surface all at once. So instead of that spot that's forming under the skin coming out in like 2 months, 6 months, whatever it would be, it's just coming out a lot sooner. And the reason is so we can deal with it all at once, which is a much nicer experience because then like this is the hard part, but after this it's only going up, it's only going to improve. And that is like a really important mindset to have when you're going on this journey. So you're not just constantly like, oh my God, my skin's breaking out more, it's getting worse. And yeah, you just really have to have patience. If you're introducing new things, you really want to wait at least 3 months to start seeing a significant shift in your skin. So for 3 months, it's going to be hard. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, this timeline kind of changes for everyone as well. So you really have to just pay attention to you and your skin, but you will start to see the health around the breakouts, the breakouts around the spot that will start to become healthier first. You'll start to see your actual skin around the spots become healthier. It'll start glowing, you might have like less visible pores. The skin will just look so much more healthier, so much more hydrated, and that is a really good thing to kind of focus in on whilst you're waiting for the breakouts to kind of leave. And yeah, I hope that answers your question. Just know that it's completely normal and you just have to keep going. Like, it is just a part of the process, unfortunately. So let's see, what have we got next? How do you not spiral when you get a bad skin day? Ooh, okay, let me think about this. It's really important that on your skin journey that you have compassion for yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the person that's going to have to carry you through the whole journey. Even if you're working with a professional, you're with yourself all the time. And of course, it's normal to have ups and downs. Like, we're not going to be happy all of the time. We're not going to be sad all the time, right? It changes, it shifts. And when you wake up with like a new breakout and you're just like, oh my God, am I back at square one? It's really easy to fall into that kind of negative feeling. But I think the biggest shift that you're going to have is if you write down every single thing that you're doing that helps yourself. Then you've got a checklist to go back to. Then you can say, am I lacking in any of these areas? If you are, that's a really, really good time for you to reevaluate what you're doing, what those habits are that you have in your life, and where you can kind of improve upon. And it's all information. And if you start seeing that as information, it really helps to kind of detach from the process. So you're not constantly like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Like, my skin is terrible. I look awful. No, just come back to square one. Am I doing the right things? Am I using skin microbiome supportive skincare, or am I overloading my skin? Like, am I eating the right things that are aiding my health? And have I got things in place that support my stress management and my nervous system? That's what you need to come back to. And if you really are doing all of the right things, then that is going to be reassuring for you, or I'd hope. And obviously you can go take my free quiz anytime. It's at topoffitisabel.com/quiz. I've got a whole quiz and basically tells you exactly where you need to improve on. So if you are having a flare up with your skin or a bad skin day, go take that quiz, because maybe that would be the thing that reassures you, like, this is where I can still improve upon, this is what I'm doing. But also just have self-love and self-compassion, because you are beautiful and enough in every single stage of your journey of becoming, not just when you get the end result. And you need to start working on bettering your mindset and mentality around this so you can feel happy now rather than just waiting for when you get the result, because I've been there. I've talked about it a lot. So go back and watch the podcast episodes on that, but have compassion for yourself. You are already enough right now, not just when you have clear skin or whatever that end result is for you. So moving on to some kind of like soft life wellness routine type questions. That's at least what I wrote for the category title anyway. So, what do you do on days when you feel low energy and you don't want to do anything? Ironically, I'm having one of those days today, so this question is a really good time for me to answer this, because I am deep in that and I really feel that too. So I'm sorry if you're going through that at the moment as well. It does not feel great. But when you feel low energy and you don't want to do anything, if you are in a privileged position where you are not at work or not, dealing with a lot of responsibilities, I'd say the biggest thing you should be doing is just paying attention to, how can I make today a little bit easier? How can I listen to what that inner child is saying to me? Like, is that younger version of me asking for peace? Are they asking for stillness? Am I overstimulated, overwhelmed? What is it that I actually need in my life? Like, what is this information telling me? Like, am I low energy because I've been overdoing it? Am I low energy because there are people in my life that are draining me? What is this thing that your life is trying to tell you because you feel low energy? Is there just so much going on? And then just find space for yourself, have space for yourself. Even if you are at work and you have to push through and you've got no other choice and you can't take a day off, find one moment in your day where it's just for you. Even if it's just sitting in the car at the end of the day for 20 minutes, half an hour or something like that, sitting there with your thoughts, have some calming music on, close your eyes and just like listen to yourself, listen to your thoughts, listen to what you're trying to speak to yourself, what you actually need, what your soul needs. Because I think so many of us go through our lives, go through our days, neglecting our inner voice. Like, I have this conversation with a lot of people, especially friends, and often than not, it's always, when I'm out and I'm walking, I just pop my earphones in. I don't listen to my thoughts. I don't let myself think and feel. I'm just constantly just go, go, go. How can I make this moment more energized? But really, we need to come home to ourselves and listen to ourselves. And it's really important to do that. And maybe having those days is more of just a reminder to love yourself a little bit more and to have more compassion for yourself, and just see how you can start showing up for yourself a little bit more, because maybe an act of self-love is what you need today. And if it is, go buy yourself flowers, go do something nice for yourself, even if it's like booking a nice appointment for the future, just something that gives you just a little glimmer of, this is why I'm living, like this is what life's about, like this little moment of happiness, I'm going to pocket it and carry it around with me. Like that is what we need, more moments, more glimmers of peace and softness and happiness. So I hope that helps, and hopefully you start maybe feeling a little bit better, and just hold yourself through this. It will get better, it will. Next question. So, how do you stay soft in a world that feels so stressful? Oh, okay, deep question. How do you stay soft in a world that feels so stressful? I think this is such an important question because, ironically, I was talking about this with my mum the other day. I really embarked upon a journey of self-identity this last year. And I think this really relates to this because often growing up and things like that, there has been times where I've just been like, how people feel about me is who I am. Like if someone's angry at me, it's because I'm not a very nice person. If this thing happened, it's because it reflects bad on me. And what really changed and shifted for me, particularly in this last year, is sitting with myself and actually writing down who I want to be, what characteristics, what traits, what I want to look like, what hobbies I want to have, what I want to pursue in life, what makes me fulfilled. Just really sitting with myself and tearing apart every single aspect of who I am as a person and seeing who I want to become and how I can bridge that gap. And I think that's really important because in the day and age that we're in, and there's so much negativity around it, especially with the constant social media presence that we all have, I think it's really important to sit with ourselves again and just like realize that external things don't reflect on us. If we choose to be a good person and we do good actions, then we are a good person, right? It's not much more complicated than that. Like, if you choose to be and act soft and help people and to be a lovely, kind, caring person, and your actions reflect that, then it makes living your life a little bit easier because nobody can take away how you feel about yourself. And that is the most important thing that we have in life, is our perception of reality reflects on our belief system, how we show up in the world, how we interact with people in the world. And it all comes down to how we think and feel about ourselves and who we want to be. You can choose to be a different person tomorrow. You just have to align your actions with that to become that. So in a world that feels really stressful, and staying soft comes down to what you choose to do about that. What you choose to consume, who you choose to be, who you choose to be around. And it really just says, like, you can curate your own world. And that is where that comes in. Like, you get to choose to focus and shift your mentality onto other things. Obviously, this isn't always the case. Like, I'm very aware this is a privileged mentality to have. But even if it's really hard and it's constantly in your face and there's people around you that you can't really shift those relationships, focus your attention to the glimmers, right? If you walk down a street and there's about 50 people there and you look around and you see like everybody looks unhappy, but there's one person that looks really, really happy and then they're smiling, you can choose to focus on that one person and think, oh my God, that's so lovely. I wonder if they're having a good day. Like, I wonder why they're smiling. Or you can choose to focus on, those other 49 people that look really unhappy. It's all about your mentality. And obviously, as humans, we are programmed to focus on the negative because a lot of the time that's what keeps us safe. But you can choose to actively make a different decision. You just have to start being more self-aware. So I hope that answered your question. Moving on to the next category, which is kind of about like my business and being like a wellness creator. So, okay, interesting questions here. How did you stop being scared to post yourself? Honestly, it was a long time before I felt okay about it, and now I just show up all the time. And I'm not gonna lie, that fear never completely like goes away. Like I think it's natural for that to kind of linger and like stay with you because obviously, as human beings, the more we're exposed, the scarier it is in terms of survival. So in our brains, it's gonna be like, nah, Tabby, like this is unsafe. And obviously the more you do something, you're just building a skill. So the more you show up, the more you just are building that skill. And there are days that are easier than others. And on those days that are harder, I just have to find ways to motivate myself a little bit more. But it really just started because I realised that I had to show myself if I wanted to make a business. It was the driver, it was the motivation. If you have enough motivation in life for anything, you can do anything. You just have to want it bad enough, right? Like, yeah, so that is probably all I have to say on that question, really, is you just have to find something that really drives you, really motivates you, realize you want it bad enough, and find a way to make it work. And do it scared. Feel the fear, do it anyways. I love that quote. Like, I live by that. So, another question kind of relating to this. Do you ever feel cringe talking to the camera? Yeah, all the time. But I've learnt to love my cringe. And it really comes down to that self love and self acceptance before external validation. Because if I constantly just waited for external validation, I would not have this business I have today. Because I wouldn't be showing up, I wouldn't be doing the things, I wouldn't be putting myself out there because I'd be constantly scared of someone judging me, which I have been in the past. And there's been moments where I've been a bit quieter because that narrative becomes a bit louder. But again, it's just coming back to, okay, this means I just need to find a new way to show myself some love today, show myself some acceptance today. And it all comes with self-development, self-improvement, and mainly nervous system regulation, which is why I bark on about that all the time. Because if your nervous system is more regulated, you're going to live a happier life because your body feels safer. So if you're not already doing nervous system regulation, please do introduce EFT. I've got tapping videos on my YouTube for that, for example, or you can just Google them anyway. It will change your life. Honestly, it's the most rewarding feeling is when you feel calmer after doing it, because we go through lives feeling so stressed and feeling the weight of everything. And most of the time we don't even realize how much we are carrying. But yeah, hopefully that answered that as well. So I've got a random question here about me learning Korean. So, how are you learning Korean, and do you get embarrassed about learning it because it's really hard to learn a new language? This is a really good question. So, my Korean practice is slow, and I'm okay with that. Like, I've been focusing mainly on learning Hangul, which is the Korean alphabet. And I've seen so many videos where people have learned Hangul in like a day because it's not like that hard really. But I've decided to just do like very small amounts every single day. And that's really helped the process a lot for me because then it doesn't feel like it's a chore. It doesn't feel like it's an extra job to learn it. And it doesn't take away the excitement of me wanting to learn like a new language and all of the things that come with that. With that though, obviously, I'm very conscious that I'm starting to read a lot of words, but I don't know what they mean. So I think it's going to be a big difference when I can start speaking a lot more of it. And yes, I do feel embarrassed about it, but I'm also just making space for that self-compassion and realizing I'm not going to be great at this at first. It's another one of those things. It's a skill that I'm going to improve on and it's going to take time, but I'm going to get there with it because I'm going to keep going because I'm motivated and disciplined and Yeah, it is just a learning like journey. In terms of what I'm using to actually learn, I'm using a few things. Let me just grab my phone so I can tell you the apps that I'm using because I'm doing it all free except I bought a Hangul book on Amazon, like a workbook, which has been really great because it's given some really good insights in how to memorize some of the letters. Otherwise, I've been using mainly Duolingo, but it's not been the best for it, to be honest. What I've been really loving is Drops and Busuu, I think that's how you say it, Busuu. They've been probably the better apps to use. But basically, every single day, I just do a bit of time on each of them because they're free. They give you like limits to how much you can do for free in a day kind of thing. So having a few apps has been actually really helpful in that capacity. So that's how I've been doing. And I'm definitely improving. It's so funny though, because I've started like thinking specific words in Korean instead of English, which is really weird. Um, like sometimes it just like shifts in my brain because I guess I'm exposing myself to it so much that it has just become a little bit more natural. And every single time like I say thank you now to people, it naturally just comes out as kamsamnida or gomawe. So it's it's a journey, but it's really cool to see. And obviously, like I watch like K dramas and things, and I've started noticing some of like the errors as well in like the subtitles to what they're actually saying, like the translation. I can see some of the errors, and I'm like, no, that's not what it says. It says something slightly different, and I'm like, oh, that's so strange. But it's actually so cool. It was funny actually because a few weeks ago I had a dream in Korean, but obviously, consciously, I don't know much Korean. So I'm just like, was that like literally my brain just talking gibberish at me in my dream? I have no idea. But it's definitely consuming a lot of my life because I'm just like, know that the more I expose myself to it, the easier it's going to be. And it's definitely became that like, it's weird for me to watch movies and things in Korean now, sorry, in English now because I'm so used to listening to Korean and reading subtitles that it's became really unusual to not do that. So it's definitely changed my life a little bit in that capacity. But it's been so fun to learn a new language and I think it's something we should all do. Being bilingual is the coolest. So it's really nice to kind of like appreciate and have love for another culture and their language and how they speak and do things. It's really, really insightful as well. And I think that helps with your personal development journey as well, because it's like you're being exposed to things that are a bit different than your culture and how people do different things, and you get insights into things that you probably might not have thought about. So it's definitely an amazing thing, and I'm really excited for the future when I can visit South Korea and see things in action. Obviously, my goal is to be fluent in Korean by the time I do that. Give me a few years. I'll get there. Though I was talking to a new friend the other day who is who is Korean, and he was like, why are you learning Korean?" I was like, because I want to go to South Korea. He was like, you've not been, but you're already learning Korean. And I was like, yeah. It's just the way I am. When I've got my mindset on something, it just happens. I'm just like that, very hyper focused for sure. Definitely the neurodivergence in me. Okay, moving on to the next category. This is more just about life, identity, that type of thing. So, how do you handle friendships changing on your growth journey? This is a really good question because it's really hard. When I started my business like almost 4 years ago, I hadn't considered how it would change me as a person. But when you're self employed, you're constantly shoved into self development, whether you like it or not. Because to grow as a business person, you have to grow as an individual as well. And you kind of get like skyrocketed into shifting as a human being. And I've been on the biggest self development journey in every single capacity, and it has changed my entire life. How I do things, how I show up. Even my mum said the other day, she was like, "You speak so well now." And I was like, what on earth do you mean? What do you mean? And she was saying like how my vernacular, like it's so it comes across more analytical and witty and intelligent now. And I was like, does it? That wasn't intentional, but apparently I speak a lot better than I did, like more well spoken. And in terms of friendships, it has been hard because I've noticed that I've outgrown a lot of people in my life because my mentality has become a lot different to other people because I've been shifting it. So, for example, I've done a lot of money mindset work. So, I know about money blocks and the things that we tell ourselves that like shift how we interact with money and how we attract money into our life and like how we earn and all of these things, because at the end of the day a lot of us equate our income to our self-worth, and it's like a whole thing, right? So now in friendships and things like that, particularly in relationships as well, when I've been dating and stuff, it's been such a big factor of how they interact with money, and do they have a victim mentality around money. And it's became one of those things where it's like I am struggling to form more friendships because I'm not on the same wavelength as people on their personal development journeys, and that can make it quite hard to connect with people sometimes. This sounds very big-headed. This isn't what I mean. I just mean that I've got very different values to what I had. And I do struggle to find people with the same values because I think when you do a lot of self-development work, you do become a little bit more delulu. Like you do become a bit more with your head in the clouds because you become in the world of entrepreneurs and you meet loads of people that are doing things beyond your wildest dreams. So you're expanding your capacity for what you believed was possible. And then that automatically just like makes you believe it's possible because you've seen it. Like you talk to people that are doing that. Like I've been in rooms with millionaires and then seeing them do it. And then I'm like, oh, this actually seems a little bit more possible now because I've seen their journey. I know their journey. I know what's taken for them to get there. And obviously, when you have that mentality of like anything's possible, when you're around other people that don't believe that and believe that like they can't do things and that things are harder and that nothing like that is normal, it's a massive difference in values and expectations, and you can come across quite strange in those circumstances. So it definitely has shifted a lot of my friendships and relationships in my life, like a lot actually. And it's something you really do have to grieve on your journey of becoming, if you are really deep in self-development work, is you're gonna outgrow people. It's kind of like your teenagehood, like who you're friends with when you're like 10 to like 13 compared to like starting as an adult. Your values change, your mentality changes. It's exactly like that. Like you just grow as a person and then you're just not aligned with people, and you do have to grieve that because it can be really, really hard. But you just have to, again, just it's all about having compassion for yourself and realizing that growth is important. And if you're outgrowing people, that's okay because there's going to be new people that meet you at all levels of you, and they might outgrow you. Like it's just life, and people come and they go, and some people come for seasons, some people come for a lifetime. It is just the way of life, and we do just have to accept that we don't always have control over all of these things, even if it is really, really sad. But it doesn't change the good experiences that you do have with those people. It doesn't change those things, and that's what we have to accept. So, moving on to the next question. What are you manifesting right now? Oh, okay. Thanks for asking. I love this question. I'm always manifesting something. Ironically, I'm in a bit of a stage in my life where I'm feeling a little bit lost. The things that I thought I wanted, I'm not sure they're aligned anymore. So I'm kind of just like flailing about a little bit. So I've been doing a lot of journaling recently and trying to figure out my direction and where I'm going. And it is hard. It is hard, but Pinterest is amazing for this, by the way. So if you're on your manifestation journey and trying to figure out what you want your future to look like, go to Pinterest. It will make things so much easier because then you're seeing visuals, especially if you're a visual person like me, and you could see like, oh, like I fancy that. I would like that. So what am I manifesting right now? Obviously, I'm manifesting to go to South Korea. There's a few places that I would like to go: Seoul, Busan, Jeju Island, Jeju Island. I'll figure it out before I go. It's okay. And obviously being bilingual, that's like a manifestation that I'm like taking action towards right now. Obviously I am wanting to grow my social media in terms of like this business. So I am manifesting 1,000 YouTube subscribers. I just hit over 100, so I'm on my way. Every milestone's important, and deserves, celebrating. What else am I manifesting? Let's see. Just happiness, to be honest. Like happiness, financial stability, fulfillment, the big things, the big things. There's also, I really want a Mini Cooper in olive green. That's the next car that I'm manifesting. And oh, the big one that I kind of forgot about. Oh, how did I forget? Moving out. I'm currently living at home still, which does make me feel bad a lot of the time, but I'm learning to be okay with it. I just feel like I should be further along. And I'm sure a lot of people feel like that as well. So I'm manifesting to move into my own apartment in Brighton by the end of 2026. That is my main manifestation right now. Obviously, a lot of things will play into that, but that is what I'm focusing on. So, yeah. So, I think that's it for the questions today. I had a lot more questions, so thank you for sending them in. I really appreciate it. And obviously, this was my first episode doing it kind of like this, so I hope you enjoyed it. Please tell me if you do and you want me to do more of these. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was insightful for you, and I will see you next week for another episode. I'm Tabby, I'm your host. I hope you have a gorgeous, gorgeous week. Sending you so much love, and I shall talk to you soon. Bye.